anytime I'm asked to describe Wylde Flowers, I always find myself describing it as a cozy, witchy farm sim, and then immediately backpedaling to correct farm sim to life sim. It has all the villager interactions you could ever want, and the NPCs are simply fantastic, but the farming just isn't quite deep enough to warrant calling it a farm sim. But thankfully, that changes today, or more specifically on Friday, April 28th, 2023, because that's the day that the fabulous farming update was released for Steam, Nintendo Switch, and Apple Arcade. It's available today for a very reasonable price of free, but just how fabulous is it really? As it just came out, I haven't even had a chance to play it much at all yet, but I have been given all the dirty beets fresh from the garden. Wait, did I say beets? I meant deets, as in details. Let's talk. If I were in charge of naming this update, it'd be the Fabulous Farming and Radical Ranching update, because it impacts far more than just farming. And I don't know about you, but I find cows a tad more adorable than my sweet potatoes, as sweet as they can be, and this update adds just as much, if not more so, to the ranching aspect of the game than it does to farming. Let's start by talking about all the changes to the farming mechanics first. If you're itching to see those animals, though, here's a little teaser to tide you over till then. Till then? Get it? Never mind. In pretty much every farm sim I've ever played, be that Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon, or Story of Seasons, unlocking a greenhouse is always a super exciting moment for me. Not only does it allow you to grow crops out of season, but it gives you something to spend your time in to occupy the slow days of winter. Wylde Flowers is no exception. However, upon unlocking mine, I was a bit disappointed at its size, only holding 6 garden plots, which is less than half the capacity of the starting plot right next to your Grandma Hazel's house. To add to that pain, if you want to befriend the villagers, you're going to need to give them lots of gifts in the form of cooked dishes, and unless you want to fork over your hard-earned cash at Sophia's diner to buy all of it, you're going to need ingredients. And a lot of them, including those from seasons that you're not currently in. That is where the new and improved greenhouse comes in. Not only does this thing look awesome, but it also can hold 18 garden beds, making it quantifiably 3 times better than the starting one. It's not the cheapest thing ever to purchase, but if you ask me, it's worth it, no matter the cost. While the greenhouse will undoubtedly change the game for the better and looks downright fanglastic, this next new feature has honestly got me on the edge of my seed. Gone are the days of having to buy seeds from Lena, the general store owner, or Thomas, the fellow farmer on the island. Sure, you can still do both of those if you'd like, or you can take advantage of a brand new building being added, the propagation shed. This building can be used to grow a special variant of each crop, allowing you to harvest seeds instead of produce from them. Essentially, it's a seed maker, but with a bit different of an approach. Simply plant any seed like you normally would, but add some propagation mix to the bed, and instead of the normal produce, it will yield seeds instead. The building only comes with 4 garden beds, but as we can see here, one plot produces 8 seeds, which is double the amount of produce you normally get from a single garden bed. Depending on how quickly these seeds grow to maturity, this may or may not be able to take the place of buying seeds, but at the very least, it allows you to supplement them, which is still a win in my book. Who knows, maybe just like the greenhouse, this building will one day get an upgrade as well. And speaking of upgradable buildings, the tool shed has also received an upgrade, or rather it will once you purchase it from Parker, the island's carpenter. From the exterior, it doesn't look that much bigger, but according to Parker, it's double the size, which is a much needed upgrade. After all, this is my current tool shed layout, with no more than a 1 wide walkway throughout it, and with the addition of even more tools to put in this building as of this update, I could shed a tear of joy at the thought of double the space. I mean, just look at this thing. It's beautiful. All right, though, let's talk animals. Prior to this update, Wylde Flowers only had 3 types of animals: cows, sheep, and chickens. But that list is doubling in size with the addition of pigs, alpacas, and ducks. Pigs will dig for truffles, alpacas can be sheared for their wool, and ducks produce blue duck eggs, as well as swim around in your pond all adorably like. And not only are new animals being added, but new variety within them as well, with each animal having 8 different variations. For most, that variation is going to consist of color and pattern, but for each of the 6 different animal types, there's also a magical variation as well. In real life, I wouldn't believe that were possible. Not until pigs can fly, but in Wylde Flowers, well, they can. These magical animals will produce magical byproducts, though what purpose those serve as of now, I'm not too certain. They'll also have magical abilities themselves, like the ability to fly, have wool that looks like it's made out of a cotton candy rainbow, or just look sad, or, in other words, a bit blue. To get these magical animals, though, you'll have to work for them, using 2 new mechanics that have also been added as of this update. The first of which is breeding. Thank you! You can finally stop throwing all of your hard-earned money at Marty to buy new animals, and instead incubate chicken and duck eggs in the newly added incubator in the coop, and your barn animals can now get pregnant and give birth as well, via the magic from a fertility potion, allowing you to be a bit more self-sufficient. This is also the only way to acquire magical animals. You have to breed them yourself. I assume the incubator and the ability for your barn animals to get pregnant is going to be locked behind the upgraded coop and barn, because yes, those are also new building upgrades that have been added as well, and they look so much better in my opinion than their predecessors, but they also might just increase the number of animals each building can have, which for a coop seems to be 6 chickens and 4 ducks, but for the barn, I haven't a clue. The second new mechanic, needed to get magical animals, requires you to discover and feed your animals their favorite foods during the course of their pregnancy. Do this every single day, and out pops a magical animal. You can also feed any animal their favorite food, whether they're pregnant or not, to increase your relationship with them. Doing so will also count as feeding them for the day, and just like every other living being in Fairhaven, you can use your crystal ball to discover what each animal's favorite food is if you'd prefer not to guess and check your way to success. Even if you choose not to feed your animals their favorite foods and prefer to stick to hay and chicken feed instead, they've made it easier than ever to get your hands on animal feed through the addition of a feed mill that can be built in your shed, allowing you once again to become even more self-sufficient. A candy pole has also been added to the shed, though that's completely unrelated, as are the new quests that have been added, the new cooking recipes that take advantage of the new animal products, the reworked Harvest Festival, and what I'm really looking forward to are the 12 new magical outfits that have been added, which look to have really unique properties, like the ability to glow. As gamers, we could all use a little bit more RGB in our lives, right? Needless to say, there's a lot to look forward to in this update, so I'm going to wrap things up here so I can get back to playing me some Wylde Flowers. If you guys have any questions about this update or the game in general, feel free to leave them down below. I will happily share my love for this game with anyone willing to listen. Thank you so much, though, for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. My name's DoctorDDub, and until next time, as always, take care.